Good evening, good day, good morning, and hello to all our wonderful viewers from around the world. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, morning, midday, afternoon, whatever the time zone is where you're viewing this from now. It is finally here, gents and ladies, of course. This is leg one of the 2025 Namibian Motorsport Digital Motorsport Namibian Motorsport Federation's Digital Motorsport Championship for Circuit. It has finally begun, and as you can see, we're in the last couple minutes, last minute and a half of qualifying here from the beautiful, beautiful Circuit de Catalunya in Spain, where currently temperatures are 16 degrees for the feel on your skin, and the asphalt is a quite nice 23 degrees, and the track settings at the moment, or the track temperature, the track grip levels are at optimum. Actually we don't really have a lot of wind or any wind at the moment currently blowing, so I think the conditions are as prime and as beautiful as what they can be for a day of GT3 racing. So just to give you guys a little rundown, we've got 10 entrants, all of them Namibian drivers, one lady, Chantal Talliard. So it's a very, very, very diverse field at the moment. Checking out the qualifying results so far, the top 4 are within a second of each other. The entire field up to 10th position separated by 3.5 seconds. It's going to be a tight 1 hour race. On top of that, all the drivers need to do a mandatory pit stop of 25 seconds with a refuel in that pit stop. And then on top of that, you can put in 1 liter of fuel, or as our other counterparts from the other way across the seas would say, 1 gallon. You can put in 1 gallon of fuel and do a 1 second refill. You still got to sit in the pits for 25 seconds. So it will make this 1 hour race very, very, very interesting. We're currently following along with Richard Sellier, who was our 2024 Dirt Rally 2.0 champion. We'll see how he does on the asphalt tonight. This being the layout with the chicane of Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya. So in total, giving the track 16 corners, making it a distance of like 4.6 kilometers. So let's see what the guys can do tonight. Oh, not the way that you wanna end up. Possibly him not being too happy about his qualifying position so far. So yeah, that's about it. A little bit of information regarding this championship. The cars that the guys started this first race in now is the car that they have to carry out through all 7 races that we have in this series for the rest of the year, with points tallying up obviously to the end of the year, resulting in a first, second and third championship position for our Namibian Motorsports Federation Digital Motorsport Championship. Our second race after this is going to be at Paul Ricard in France. So yeah, that's also going to be a pretty interesting race. Hopefully by then, or not by then, but hopefully we'll have more people on the grid by then. The drivers have got open setups. They can do as much as they want regarding the setups on their vehicles. There's no assists allowed, no stability control, no auto braking, no auto steering. None of that stuff is allowed at all during the league throughout the year. And yeah, just to give you guys a points rundown of how the point structure for the championship will work. First place will give you 25 points, second place 18 points, third place 15 points, fourth place 12, fifth place 10 points, sixth place 8 points, seventh place 6 points, eighth place 4 points, ninth place 2 points, 10th place 1 point, and everybody below 10 points. Unfortunately, you did not receive or will not receive any points for your race and for your effort. Other than that, I think it's going to be very interesting. The guys are antsy. The guys are how can I say, greedy. Let's call it greedy. It's the first race of the season. A lot of guys are testing out the vehicle, still playing around with setups and so on. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's always like the first corner on this track is quite tight. Usually the first corner on the track is always the culprit, and a lot of people hope that the race is won in the first corner, but that's unfortunately never the case. And yeah, so for now we're gonna just hang on a bit. The guys have got about 3 minutes of waiting time now, until the qualification session kicks over to the race session. There we go. Let me just get this set up. There we go. A better camera angle. There we got all 10 of them on the grid. So qualifying in first place was Adrian Nel. Just behind him, John de Toy. Third place, Wilro de Pona. Fourth place, Reino Burger. Fifth place, Richard Sellier. Sixth place, John Pierre Sellier, or JP Sellier, as we all, or as us guys know him. So that's a brother duo that in fifth and sixth. Seventh place, Mornay de Toy, the father of John de Toy, in second place. Leon Burger, the father of Reino Burger, in fourth place. Ninth place, Michael Rust, and 10th place, Chantal Talliard. So let's see what happens during this race. We got about a minute and 12 seconds until the race starts, which is gonna be interesting. The first corner is always the most interesting part of a race, in my opinion, because you never know who you're gonna outbrake, who's gonna brake too early, who's gonna brake too late. You never know what's gonna happen. So let's give it these 50 remaining seconds, and then we see what happens. I do think, however, if I remember correct, the guys do have a full formation lap, and then they come back again, and then the race starts. We will also have live stewarding this evening. We are just waiting for our steward to pitch up still. She had a meeting. Oh, she did make it. Let me drag Geraldine into our little chat over here, and then she can tell us what she's going to look at tonight. Geraldine, are you there? Can you hear me? You can switch on your mic here if you want. Not if you want. I need you to switch on your mic, please. I just dragged you down to the live stream channel now, and I would like for you, while the drivers are doing their formation lap, I think, or is this going to be the race start? I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a formation lap. So if possible, can you maybe explain in this formation lap that they're running now what you as the live steward is going to be looking for when handing out penalties?
Basically, sure.
Sorry for putting you on the spot like that, but it was getting lonely doing all the talking over here.
Yeah, that is pretty required.
I apologize.
I think reckless driving, irresponsible driving, taking people out unnecessarily, not adhering to flag signals.
Yeah, just the basic stuff regarding proper racecraft and proper racing etiquette, if we can call it that. So yeah, let's see this. Luckily it's not that long of a lap, so the formation lap shouldn't take that long. I believe towards the end of the lap we'll probably see some guys and a gal. We will remember we got a woman there as well, and a gal probably start swerving around. Oh yeah, there it begins. The guys swerving around, warming up tires ever so slightly to give them that little bit of advantage when pulling away.
Yeah, just looking through at the people who have entered here, we seem to have quite a nice crowd with 10 people on the grid. This being the Namibian Championship, I'm actually quite pleased to see that there are 10 people on the grid. I know last year's races there were a couple where we didn't have so many competitors, but I think this year, I think in the near future, if I'm not mistaken, we will be looking at a hell of a lot more competitors on the grid.
I joined the guys for driver's briefing, and the girl. I gotta forget, or I gotta stop forgetting to remember that there's a girl in the mix as well, or not a girl, a lady. I joined them for driver's briefing, and they were ecstatic at least, like, just being a lot of people that look at this internationally, that join leagues where there's like 40 or 30 cars on the grid, and they look at this like, wow, there's only 10 people on the grid. You people gotta remember, this is Namibia. Half of our population, or let's not say half, 10%, Circuit de Catalunya, or Barcelona de Catalunya grandstands, the stands that you see around the track, can host 140,000 people. If you put 140,000 Namibians in those stands, you clear out a town in Namibia.
Exactly.
So to have 10 people get together on a week evening, not even on a Saturday or a Sunday, for those that aren't aware, that's watching this now from wherever across the globe. Currently it's Thursday evening, 8:10 at the moment. So to get 10 people, 10 Namibian drivers together, these aren't even international drivers, it's all drivers from the same country. To get 10 people together on a track here now to do this race for Namibia alone, that's quite an achievement for digital motorsports, sim racing, esports in Namibia, whatever you want to call it. Oh, there we go. The race is on the way. Let's get a nice helicopter shot there and see what happens into turn 1. Adrian Alexander de Toy dicing quite closely. Who's going to break first? So Adrian L basically takes the whole shot, with Jandre de Toy not very far behind at all. Let's get ourselves a nice wing view there and see what happens. You can also see Vilro Dippenaar there, not at all backing off from Jandre de Toy and keeping Jandre honest. And Vilro seems to be taking the inside line. Guys keeping it clean so far. Everything looks good so far. And Adrian Nel just basically pulling away like a wildfire. I wouldn't say pulling away too far.
If you look at the time difference between Adrian and the rest of the lap, I mean, you're looking at almost a second between Adrian and Jandre at the moment, and that with not even a full lap being completed.
It's as if Adrian maybe didn't put in enough fuel. We'll definitely know as soon as he goes into the pit for his stop. But yeah, nonetheless, as I said earlier, whether you put in full fuel, half fuel, or whatever, and you only need to top up with a liter or a gallon of fuel, you gotta be in the pits for 25 seconds as soon as the pit opens. So let's quickly have a look here. Vilro Dippenaar all over the backside of Jandre, not giving him like any breathing space. For those of you that don't know Vilro Dippenaar, have never heard that name or completely unaware, Vilro is a real life multiple Namibian Rally Championship winner, and he's also currently taking part in the off-road series in South Africa. I'm not pretty sure what that series is named, like the entire title of it is, but he is taking part in a Dakar spec Hilux bakkie in South Africa. Well, there's actually quite a few of them. So yeah, Vilro Dippenaar, a real life racing driver here. Also being kept honest by two sim races. Adrian Nel, of course, in first place, is a very, very well-known name in the karting world. Last year, Adrian also represented Namibia at the FIA Motorsport Games in Valencia. So yeah, Adrian not taking any prisoners tonight. Like he's look at that. That's like 10, 12 car distances in front of Jandre and Vilro. So definitely going to be worth keeping an eye on these three in front. From having raced with Adrian does like to push the limits. So it might be that Adrian, maybe, I don't wanna bring up the broadcaster's curse or the streamer's curse or whatever the guys call it. There is a possibility of Adrian maybe overcooking it halfway through the race and the two guys currently in second and third, Jandre and Volro, catching up very, very quickly. But I see between Reino Burger and Richard Cillier a very tight battle brewing as well.
Yes,
Richard, not a slow driver at all. He is the winner of our 2024 rally Dirt Rally 2.0 championship. Also a very consistent driver when it comes to circuit racing. So yeah, here's also a nice tight battle brewing. Of course, I do need to mention this. Reino Burger, Leon Burger, the father and son duo, both the top dogs, the big guys at ProX Auctioneers here in Windhoek in Namibia. They are one of our main sponsors. Should you guys, you viewers out there, ever need anything auction, they are the people to talk to. They have state-of-the-art equipment. They can do, from what I understand, any auction of any item anywhere around the world. They have all the online facilities. Like the auctions that these guys do are on a complete next level. So a big thank you to ProX Auctioneers for helping us with getting the sim racing in Namibia up and running, sponsoring the server fees and so on. And we're speaking about the server and the server fees are like another sponsor of us, DICT, also a very reputable IT company in Windhoek, here in Namibia, our capital city. Anything IT related, whether it be gaming, whether it be servers, whether it be IT infrastructure, networking systems, whatever you need, check out the ICT on Facebook. We have links for them on the screen. So yeah, we really have two amazing sponsors on board, with a lot of talks of more sponsors getting involved, and obviously sponsors getting involved, more people getting involved, and hopefully eventually getting to the point where we need a massive server because we have 64 cars on the grid. I don't think ACC allows that. I think the maximum number is 32, but one can dream. So let's see, this, the man himself, Leon Burger, following along with him, and of course just in front of him I see it was Michael Rust. Oh no, that was Richard. It seems that Richard made a little bit of a miscalculation there and went slightly off track, and Michael Rust, like right behind me, Mornade Toy, this thing is giving me a run for my money. There we got Reino Burger, Mornade Toy, Michael Rust, Richard Cillier. So Richard Cillier did just lose a place to Michael Rust, if I'm not mistaken, Geraldine.
that's correct, 100%.
So yeah, Richard made a boo-boo over there. So let's see what happens if Leon Burger can catch up to Richard through the chicane. Chicane is always a make and break point, because brake a little bit too late, brake a little bit too early, and you lost a second through a chicane.
Definitely. I'm sitting here myself at the moment watching Jean-Ray Detoy and Volro Dippenaar. Volro literally sitting right behind him and just waiting for him to make a mistake, for him to be able to push through. Otherwise, gaining ground on him every time. And I'm sure when the time is right, Volro will probably pass him as well.
That is something that I realized in sim racing when I was still racing. Unfortunately I had to sell my stuff, but yeah, now I can sit and stream and show everybody what it's like from the outside as well. You don't always need to be the fastest, and I'm not saying that Volro isn't fast. Volro is stupidly fast, but consistency over an hour-long race, and I mean, look at that, we're 9 minutes into the race. Consistency over an hour-long race, conserving your tires, putting in the right amount of fuel for the amount that you plan on driving before going into the pits, it makes a huge difference. And
Yes. And also, depending on when you decide to go into the pits for your, I'm sure there's also sorry, I missed the driver's briefing due to other commitments on a subcommission. I'm sure there is a compulsory pit stop as well for them to do within this hour, if I'm not mistaken.
There is a compulsory pit stop of a minimum of 25 seconds, and the pit window only opens in the next 1 minute and 7 seconds. So for the first 10 minutes of the race, the pit window was closed. So if you managed to get yourself damaged or something like that, you had to survive for 10 minutes the way that your vehicle is. But yes, to get back to the compulsory pit stop, there's a compulsory pit stop of 25 seconds that the racers must do during the course of the 1 hour race. So no matter if you decide you only want to put in 1 liter of fuel, and the actual pit stop is only supposed to take like 2 seconds to put in the 1 liter or the 1 gallon of fuel, you're still going to sit inside the pit for 25 seconds at least. Well, not at least, you will be in there for 25 seconds plus the time that it takes for you to actually get to your pit box, get the car parked and all that kind of things.
So if I'm also understanding you correctly, that 25 seconds is literally what you stand still and do nothing, and then only you can, for example, refuel or repair damages if need be.
85% correct. The 25 second that you stand still is the time frame that you must be in the pits while doing the refill, the tires or so on. Each time you enter the pits, before you enter the pits or before you start the race, depending on the way that you want to do it, you set up a pit stop strategy where you decide on, listen, okay, on my first pit stop, you can do as many pit stops as you want, but obviously that'll cost you positions in the race. But let's say on you do 1 pit stop. So when you set up your strategy, you say, listen, when I come into the pits, crew chief or whatever you call the guy in the pits, some people like the immersion, whatever you call the guy in the pits, you say, listen, when I come into the pits, I want new front tires, I want 20 liters of fuel, and I want you to adjust my rear spoiler by 1 degree, for example. The simulator or the game then calculates the time that it's going to take you in the pits to be there. So you come into the pits, and as soon as you stop, and your crew chief has calculated it's going to take 37 seconds to do all of that, as soon as you park, the 37 seconds starts, or let's now for argument's sake 25 seconds starts. And during this 25 second time period, they do your tires, they do your fuel, and they do your rear wing. Now where the 25 second mandatory stop comes in is the fact that you can try and how can I say, bluff the pit stop, and because there's only 1 pit stop, you can say, listen, I'm going to start with basically full fuel in my car. I just want to do a 1 liter refuel in my car, so then I did the mandatory pit stop and I did the mandatory refuel, but my pit stop is only 4 seconds long. You get what I'm saying? So that's why they made the stop. No matter how much fuel you put in or how little fuel you do or whatever, the stop will remain 25 seconds regardless of what you do, or more.
Okay.
Or more. Just to clarify myself on what I'm saying there, like the minimum allotted time for a pit stop is 25 seconds. That's the minimum.
It seems here that Andre de Toy is putting a lot of pressure onto Adrian and really closing the gap up. They were almost a second apart just now, and they've come down to, well, 0.7.
See, so maybe Adrian was pushing a little bit too hard. I missed that now. From talking, I get fixated on the car that I'm watching on, and I'm not looking at the gap times. Not that I can see them on my layout that I have here. Another thing just to mention to the viewers, this is my first time streaming in years. The overlays and the stuff will get better. I'll get better time things, overlays and things on, so that one can actually see the gaps. We can use this at the moment and you can see the actual gap. So for now, what we're seeing in this sector, Andre de Toy is 0.5 off of Adrian Nell's lap time, of his total time, and there goes Adrian Nell. As I said, I don't want to call it the commentator's curse or broadcaster's curse or streamer's curse. It's just Adrian Nell's way of driving. He drives on the edge, and sometimes he does overcook it. But I'm pretty sure we'll see Adrian catching up quite quickly again to these 2 guys in front. So for now, let's move to Genre de Toy. And as we can also see, the gap between him and Volro is big, but not too big. That's one slide and Volro will be like back on him like white on rice. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I am gonna say it. And Genre de Toy also something, like I also raced with him for 2 years or so. I was never a front runner with these guys. Like these guys are on a different level. We call them aliens. It's difficult to stay with these guys, and it's difficult to stay ahead of them. Like usually we would race, our first race would be, you would pull away on your qualifying position, and then the second race would be reverse grid. So the slower guys would pull ahead in front. Dude, you only stayed in front for like half a lap, and then these guys would come flying past you like you were looking for parking.
Well, at least for a couple of seconds you were ahead of them.
Yeah, you felt good about yourself for like, let's say, maybe a minute, depending on the lap.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. But one thing I can say about Genre de Toy, as soon as Genre de Toy gets open space like he has now, he settles into this like tunnel vision, and unless he makes a mistake, it's difficult to catch him, and there's no two stories about that.
Well, if you look at the time difference between himself and Volro at the moment, it's a lot bigger than what there was between Adrian and himself.
Exactly.
So, which literally shows that he enjoys the open space in front of him. But then again as well, it is an hour's race. Let's see when he starts catching up with back markers.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes into the race, 16 minutes into the race. So there is still a lot can happen. And what I've seen in these hour-long races, when you do your pit stop, like the strategy that you choose to take for your pit stop, that makes so much of a difference. It makes a massive difference. If you decide to do your pit stop, if let's take one of these front runners at the moment, if you decide to do your pit stop at the wrong time, a person in 8th place can come and take your 2nd or 3rd place, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, whoever crosses the finish line first is the winner. No matter if you were leading the race for 56 minutes of the hour-long race. Apologies. For an hour-long race, and the guy that's in 8th place, 9th place, 10th place, 5th place comes and takes the win in the last 4 minutes, 3 minutes of the race. Tough shit. That's just the way that it is. Apologies for that, but there's no other way of saying it. That's why your pit stop strategy is so important. Volro just going wide there into the pebbles, that'll definitely affect his traction a little bit. But let's see what's going on on the rest of the field. Reino Berger currently basically all alone, sporting the Ford Mustang. I just love the sound of this vehicle. But in these GT3s, like my favorite is the Aston Martin. Unfortunately, no one is driving it here tonight. But the sound, the grunt of that vehicle it's insane.
There's a very nice race going on at the moment between Richard Sillier and Michael Rust.
Let's have a look. Oh, so Richard is closing in on Herr Rust. For those that don't know, Michael Rust is German. So for us that know him, he's Herr Rust, which means Mr. Rust. Also, a little bit of a backstory to Michael Rust. His father is actually Tony Rust. Most people will say Rust because that's how you spell it, but it's not Rust. Rust is English. It's Rust, or Rust is German. And our one and only tar racetrack in Namibia is named after Uncle Tony. I'm not 100% sure, and that's on me because I haven't dug into the history of the Tony Rust racetrack that often. But Geraldine, I'm not actually 100% sure why the track is named after Uncle Tony. Was he like the founder of the track? Did he build the track initially, or do you know the story behind that?
I'm not 100% sure. I know it was actually discussed on one of the sporting groups on WhatsApp a while ago. He was part of the founder of the track and everything. It started way back, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the 80s, if not before then. where they started with a dirt oval track as well, on the whole facility, as well as the gravel circuit area, which they then obviously over the years have improved, and the facilities have been upgraded, which have been, great for motorsport in Namibia. I think there isn't many people in Namibia that do not know the name Tony Roost Racetrack.
Exactly.
Yes, one of the good tracks, one of the favorite tracks for circuit racing. At the moment, the only track in Namibia who can host circuit racing. And yes, a lot of the drivers, there are not many drivers who do not like that track.
I remember last year or the year before when we held our Namibian championship that the Namibian Motorsport Federation actually hosted for us. Just like in the infancy of sim racing in Namibia, we were racing on R Factor 2, and we actually got a developer from Britain, I think. I think he was from the UK. I can't remember his name now. And we actually sent him photos and stuff like that of Tony Roost Racetrack, and we pressured him and like, sir, dude, bro, man, please make this happen for us. And our actual last race of that series was on a virtual what do you call it, a virtual track, a virtual layout, whatever you want to call it, of Tony Roost Racetrack, and it was insane. The guys loved it. Now I just quickly jumped on. Sorry for interrupting. Like we're sitting here speculating about the history of Tony Roost Racetrack, and we actually forgot, like, we do have this new space age technology called the internet. So I quickly jumped on the internet and saw and like looked if I could quickly find some information regarding that. There's a bunch of records that's standing there, and the fastest that I can find now for that specific track, the track is like only 2.6 kilometers long for those that don't know. The fastest time that I can find on there now was in a Formula 2 car. I guess that was like a space frame-ish type fiberglass body thing. I'm not pretty sure. I know there's some stories about what cars we allow and what cars we don't allow. They're just due to the safety factor. But the fastest time that I can find on here now was 43.284 seconds on a lap.
Phew.
Yeah, that was a Formula 2
that
was a Formula 2 vehicle. Now I gotta say, I'm on a. Oh, I gotta apologize. This is like a. I'm not actually sure what this is, but it seems if I go on here, it's like a game type thing. So I don't think that is 100% accurate.
No, as far as I know at the moment, the last record on that track was I think a 62. So yeah, to cut off 20 seconds on that.
Exactly. And like Formula 2s, whenever did we host Formula 2s on Tony Roost Racetrack? Like that never happened. So I can't really find. Let's see if I search for Wikipedia. Because it doesn't seem that there's a Wikipedia page for Tony Roost Racetrack, so that's maybe... Aha, wait, here we go. Oh my soul, it's in German. It's in German. I apologize to the viewers. I'm definitely not gonna... Wait, Google Translate. I don't know how good the translator is gonna be, but let's just hop back.
Talking here now as well. Genre de Toy is coming up behind Chantal Talliard, so let's hope that she sees her blue flags in her rear view and makes way for him, because she is then surely slowing him down, because Adrian and Volra are catching up quite quickly.
Well, she is staying wide, so she is opening up for him.
Yes.
From what I have seen, I personally unfortunately haven't raced with Chantal. She only started racing recently. From what I have seen and so on from the guys, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, her and Michael Roost are together.
That's correct, yes.
So she's not dumb when it comes to racing.
Not at all. Most people would actually.
Yes.
Most people would actually know her better by her how do they call it in Afrikaans? They say haar noemnaam.
Her nickname.
Yes.
Yeah.
Molly.
Molly, yes, of course, Molly.
Molly.
So yeah, okay, I managed to get the Tony Rust Wikipedia translated to a version of English. So it just basically says the track was named after former Namibian motorsport star Tony Rust, who was also the president of the Motorsport Federation, Motorsport Association. Motorsport Association. We're not an association. We're in a federation. In the mid 2000s. Track length, as I said, was 2.6 kilometers. There is, however, a difference in altitude, and from us that have raced it virtually, from the guys that have raced it in real life, which are thousands of people from Namibia, South Africa, and I believe we've had some international people also come and race it, even if it was only for like fun, like on fun days. There's an altitude difference on the track, what do you call it, undulations of 36 meters. So there's a lot of altitude difference on the track, especially when you're coming down the home straight or now going up the home straight. Track length 2.6 kilometers. The opening of the track was in 1984. Just to give a precise year, there's no date to it, but it was 1984. So yeah, now we've come with a long shot. We started at Michael Roost and we were down to a racetrack named after his father, to John de Toy. Well, you see, like coming down the straight, and only then Adrian comes. You see, he's got that open air. So it's as if John de Toy is at home now, and I wouldn't say he doesn't have a care in the world, because one mistake can close up that gap. What's the gap now? 4 seconds? 4.8
Yes.
seconds? That gap can close up in a heartbeat. You just need to take one corner a little bit too wide, use just ever so slightly a little bit too much of the track, and that corner can, yeah, as I said, close up in a heartbeat. Adrian Nel, yeah, it looks like him and Vilro.
Yes, Adrian Nel and Volro are very close together, but there's a nice competition at the moment between Morné de Toy and Richard Cilliers.
Geraldine, you must remember, Richard is a boertjie, net soos ek. I know my English is very well, but it's not Cilliers, it's just Cillier. Cillier. I think it's also French.
I'll just call him Richard.
Yeah, just Richard. But as you can also see now at the top, the pit window is open, but I do see a countdown timer. So
it is only open for 11 minutes.
Yes, so I might have been wrong with my initial statement saying the pit window is only open after the first 10 minutes of the race. The drivers only have like these remaining 10 minutes and 50 seconds to do their pit stop. So that'll make
you having raced before, will you be able to, while you're racing, you obviously don't look around as much as what you normally would do. Would that be something that flashes big on your screen in front of you, that you are reminded of it?
I do believe, well, if the viewers don't mind, I will show some backstage magic of how it would look like if you were a driver. Let me just get the correct button here. And let's do this. And then this. This is more or less what your screen would look like while you were busy racing. So yes, at the top you still see that exact same bar stating the pit window is open. So I do believe that the drivers are quite aware that, listen, boykie, girlkie, you only got 9 minutes and 45 seconds left to go and pit. That is obviously, if I understand the timer correct, it can be that that's the countdown timer until the pit window is open. I will be honest, I'm not pretty sure, because I haven't raced Assetto Corsa Competizione in this format where a pit stop is compulsory with this pit window. Usually it's just like after the first couple of laps the pit window opens up, and then you are able to go to the pit. So that's going to be quite interesting. Obviously, if the drivers don't do their pit stop within this window, then you'll receive a penalty, or you might actually be disqualified. And that's not from live stewarding. That's penalties that the game system implies. There we can see someone entering the pits now. I'm not actually too sure who that was. Mornade Toy. So this will shake up things a bit, because I think he's the first one to go into the pit.
Yes, he is.
So with him pit stopping now, all the other guys still need to pit stop, so that'll give him time while the other guys are catching up. And it's actually a short lap, 1 minute 40, I think, are the lap times. 1 minute 45. Yeah, 145 is. Let's say 145, 144. So that'll give him time to catch up to the guys in front. So this is going to most likely completely shake up the grid again.
It will be quite interesting to see when Jandre and Adrian and Ulra go in, how that also shakes up.
You see now, Uncle Leon, sorry, I call him Uncle Leon in Afrikaans, is Oom Leon. It's just how I got to know him, is Oom Leon. Oom Leon going into the pits now. You see, Jandre is still out on track. Let's see, there he goes into pit. There he goes into pit. I wonder who else. Okay, so Adrian now opting to stay out for now.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
It seems that Vora is also going into the pit.
Oh, you see, this is going to be very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't seem that Adrian is struggling with traction or anything on his tires so far. But yeah, in this instance, I don't know what the right choice was. Do you stay out longer? Do you go in earlier? It's... Oh, yeah, you see, there comes the slide from the back end.
I think for him, he's just got to make sure he gets into the pit.
If he can... Yeah, if he can manage it, yeah, the back end is very loose. Very, very loose. If he can manage to put a big enough gap between himself and Jandre de Toy in second place, while now Richard's still here, because Richard most likely also didn't go into pits now. Let's just get back to Richard. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly don't know. But the time is running out. There's only 6 minutes left, 6 minutes 20 seconds left on the pit window, because I see the 2 yellow bars. That means, like, listen, Boyke, the time is running out. You gotta go now. So yeah, it's gonna make things very, very interesting. And this, of course, in turn will also bring the pack very, very close back together again for like the last 10 minutes or so of the race, with catching up to back markers and all of those things. Usually in these hour-long races, the last 10 minutes become quite interesting, because then the guys and the girl start catching up to each other again.
Basically, looking at it, Adrian and Richard and Jay Salir or whatever.
Salir. JP is Richard's brother, or older brother. Let me just say it's his older brother. Is Obut Iri. Is Obut.
Well, the three of them still need to pit, and if they go back into the pits, then coming out in that order again, you know, that they obviously might fall back into the back of the other guys.
Exactly.
Then you'll have John Dereto in the front again, with Vora Dippenaar second and Michael Rustin third, depending on how quick they do their pit stops.
Exactly. In my opinion, I think the guys running first, second, third now waited too long, because I think this is now their second or their third lap staying out of the pits while the other guys have already pit stopped. I think so. I think it's the second lap. There's a very, very small margin of error when you want to try and time these things correctly. And I think
the pit closes in 4 minutes.
Exactly.
It doesn't look like Adrian's going into the pits. No, he's not.
So
I wonder if he realizes he's got limited time.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens. I honestly don't know. It makes it interesting. It definitely makes it interesting. Who's that? Car number 33, or what is that? I can't see properly. 23. 23 is Mornade Toy.
And he's got a DT.
Yeah. Who's DT? What is a DT? Aha, Adrian, he got a drive-through penalty.
Probably for speeding in the pits.
Either speeding or the pits, or cutting corners on the track too many times.
Yeah. And I see now Adrian Nolle's just gone into the pits now
Yeah,
as well, so let's see how long he stays.
he is now in the pit, so let's see. Richard hasn't pit stopped yet. And he's
And nor is JP.
Yeah, and they're running out of time. But now, yeah, three and a half minutes. They're not gonna get in 2 laps because, yes, it's gonna be very, very close, very, very tight. If the laps were shorter, you could actually maybe if you were stupidly fast, you could like lap people maybe twice while they're in the pits, depending on how long they stop, obviously. And remember, it's not only the time while you stop, it's also the time while you're pit limited by your speed limiter, because you're only allowed 40 or 50 or 60 kilometers per hour in the pit. So you don't only lose that 25 seconds, you lose, like, let's say a minute, 40 seconds, depending on how long the pit entry is or anything like that. So yeah, it's interesting. Uncle Leon Burger.
Well, Adrian Noll still shows now Jean de Detroit and then Adrian Noll.
See, it's gonna be tight. So Mornay de Toy did his drive-through penalty. Jean de Toy still in second place now. Let's see. Basically also all alone on the track where he is now. So once again, he's alone, firstly. Secondly, Richard Sellier in first place still needs to do his pit stop.
He needs to pit, and he needs to pit now.
He needs to pit.
2 minutes left.
He needs to pit now. Can we jump back to him? Oh, these controls where you have to. Okay, Richard is going into the pit now, and so was his brother is also in the pit. So that now gives Jean de Toy complete open air. So all he needs to do now, I believe he probably put on fresh tires. I'm not sure. Let's see how tail happy the backside is coming through the chicane. I think he put on new tires. I'm not sure. It looks like it. So he can basically push full on now and just build on the gap.
No, but if you look at here, Richard has done 20 laps. Jean de Detroit is now 17 seconds behind. So John just needs to make sure he gets past that pit, while Richard is still in there to take the lead again.
Either that, or there's going to be a very, very, very nice battle between him and Richard. And now I just looked at the lap times now when John came over the finish line, or the start-finish line. He was only 100th of a second off of his personal best time. So he's definitely pushing for the pace. Okay, so Richard leaving the pits now, 4th position, probably, 4th position. Or would it be...
That's like a serious shake-up after the pit stops, eh?
Yeah, definitely. We still have our top 3 in 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Jean de Toy, Adrian, Alvaro Dipana. And then once again, interestingly enough, if you look at it, we've got Richard Sellier with Reino Berger right behind him, and that's more or less basically the positions that the race started in. And if you look, we got Mr. Rust in 4th. You see, the pit window just closed. So if anybody did not do their pit stop now, you're stuffed, my friend. There's like, you got your penalty whether you finish the race in 1st place or not. Obviously we know all of them did their pit stop, but that's it. There's no other chance.
I just see Nelly's still in the pits.
I think she'll be fine because she entered the pits while she still had time.
Yeah, she's been there for quite a while though.
Maybe she had damage. Maybe she set up her pit stop wrong. That also does happen. I guess we'll see if she does come out again. Let's see if we can quickly jump to her to see if there's any progression there. What? She's still standing dead still. It'll be a bummer if she's out. want to jump back here to Michael Rust because it seemed, yeah, you see, Richard Cillier, Reino Berger, all of them, Michael just now needs to keep consistent and not make any mistakes, not force any errors. And from one thing that I can also attest, locking the front wheels. One thing that I can also attest to of the type of driver that Richard Cillier is, he'll get in tight, like on the back of your car, and he'll just hang there and hang there. And push, he wouldn't physically push you, but he'll push you to like try and go past your limits just to wait for you to make a mistake. And then he'll capitalize on that. But yeah, amazing driver to drive with, Richard.
I must say, from the steward's point of view, it's actually been a pleasure watching this race because no penalties have been issued up until now, which shows that the guys are all, good, clean drivers and are looking out for each other on the track, and which is actually a very good thing and a very nice thing.
I think the guys are so afraid to make a mistake because they know if they get a 10-second stop and go or a 20-second stop and go for a serious infraction, that's your race gone. Like, there's no two stories about it. Having or being forced to have to stop on your own for 20 seconds plus the 20 or 30 seconds that it takes you to get into your pit box, that's your race gone, my friend. There's no two stories about that. Obviously, we did say, like, we won't give 20-second and 30-second stop and go penalties due to that fact. But still, like, if you deserve a 20-second or a 30-second stop and go penalty, I mean, you can see when something is deliberate and when something is by accident and when something is a racing incident. If you deserve a 30-second stop and go penalty, you're going to get a 30-second stop and go penalty. I think the guys are racing good. They're racing hard. It's the first race of the season, and I mean this is actually, in my opinion, setting a very, very nice benchmark for, I hope, what we can pull throughout the year. It is the first race. Championship points are up for grabs for everyone. I think towards the end of the race, or towards the end of the race season, here by race 6, race 5, race 6, race 7, when the championship points might start becoming a little bit tight between the top 3, I think then we'll start to see the claws really come out.
I tell you, there's on two opposite sides of the track at the moment. We've got Richard and Reino and Michael Rust with a good fight between the three of them. And the opposite end, we've got Adrian and Volro, which is,
the last 18 minutes of the race, the guys are closing in on each other.
Definitely.
You see, so as things evolve, as I said earlier, I'm not sure if Geraldine was here or not, this is my first time streaming in a very, very, very long time. As things evolve and the streams develop and so on, we will get to the point where we can run dual views, so we'll be able to show this race going on here and the race that's going on in the first, second and third positions all at the same time. Just give us time, have some patience, we will get there. Oh, Richard making a move, let's see. Richard outbraking Michael. Michael also a very clean driver and a very conservative driver, and I'm not sure, I'm asking actually Geraldine, but I think he's like that in real life at the racetrack as well. He's fast, but he doesn't take chances.
No, he doesn't take chances, and a very, very good consistent driver as well.
Yes. He'll rather lose. Now let's take this as example. He'll rather lose the 2 positions, finish his race, and not ruin anybody's race just to make a stupid move by braking too late or by forcing someone off the track or anything like that. A really, really, really good gentleman when it comes to racing etiquette, and also the relationships between the guys on the track. People got to remember, or our viewers got to remember, all of us sitting here, basically, we're all in exactly the same WhatsApp group. We chat to each other every day. So you can't make someone angry here on the track, because then the entire group tomorrow is a little bit stiff. There's an entire vibe between everyone. So there's still very, very good competition between each other, but we're all friends. We chat to each other on a daily basis. So with that also said, you start to learn, listen, where can I take a gap on Michael? Michael breaks a little bit earlier here. Richard turns a little bit sharper into that corner, so I can do that. So there's a lot of camaraderie between all 10 of these guys here on the track.
Definitely, and even though this is the first leg of the championship for 2025, it's not like there's only the 7 races and that's the 7 races that you guys will be racing against each other. They have a lot of other races as well where they all compete against each other, so they get to know exactly who has what braking distances and who has what speeds and who can handle what corners at what speeds, taking from the inside to the outside or from the outside to the inside. They get to watch the people's racing lanes and make their choices and decisions on when to go past them, where they feel safe and accommodating to do so.
You're 110% correct. I'm actually glad that you brought that up now, because earlier we were speaking about or glorifying how nice it is to have 10 people on the track. We've got races galore. This national race is only one Thursday, once a month, maybe once every 2 months. But we've got races every Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. We've got races every Sunday. So if anybody out there watching now wants to get involved, wants to join these guys on track, you have a rig at home, you have a computer at home, you have a steering wheel strapped to your mother's office desk, put a comment in the here on YouTube or whatever and get in contact. The Discord links, WhatsApp numbers, everything will be in the description at the bottom. So get involved. Unfortunately, it was discussed, but unfortunately this league of ours, our Namibian Championship, will only be open to Namibian citizens with a valid Namibian Motorsport Federation esports license, and unfortunately you can only obtain that license if you are a Namibian citizen and if you belong to a Namibian motorsports club. So as I said, there are a bunch of races happening
as well.
but yes,
Your classification, calling it a Namibian citizen, it is also open to permanent residence people, because they are seen as being permanently in Namibia, and they are also allowed to have a NMSF license and score in the championship.
yes, Madam Home Affairs Office, I did not know that, Young. Okay, let me rephrase that. If by any means you are able to obtain a Namibian Motorsport Federation esports license, you are allowed to enter this championship. We did try and invite some more people to join in the race, but something that everybody unanimously agreed on, it's nice to have a lot of people on the grid, but now you have a guy from South Africa on the grid and he comes and he stuffs up your championship race. Not that we have anything against South Africans, we're just avoiding situations that may arise. But yeah, once again, we've got plenty of races running throughout the week. Every week we've got servers running permanently thanks to DICT and ProX Auctioneers. We've got amazing sponsors keeping everything up and running. So once again, if you want to get involved, like there's no reason not to. So it seems the gap between Volro and Adrian is fairly stagnant at the moment.
Yes, I've been watching that. It's been climbing over the last couple of laps or whatever. I see Volro is like 2 seconds behind Adrian. But obviously, yeah, Volro being a consistent driver, you will know where to, cut down. There is still basically 12 minutes left of the race, and as you know yourself, anything can happen in 12 minutes.
Exactly. Oh, it seems that Volro actually, as you just said that, or that's what I'm always referring to as the commentator's curse or the streamer's curse. It seemed that Volro missed his breaking point there a little bit. Let's move the pressure ever so slightly away from Volro for a little bit. Where is... You see, there's still a battle here. Richard can still make a mistake. Reinu can still capitalize on that. And Michael Roos just easing it. Like, doesn't matter actually where these people end on the race tonight. They still got points. All of them are still in the top 10. So no one is going to go home tonight with a 0 on their championship standing. Jean-Pierre Sellier, JP, also pushing.
I see now John Redetoy is going through the back markers at the moment. He's busy coming up behind Leon Berger.
Let's have a look at how Leon's race is going so far. You can also see, it seems like that, see Uncle Leon opening up beautifully for John Ray.
100%. I like to see that.
Yeah. It's what I touched on just now. Like, we're all friends. We're on a WhatsApp group. We're on Discord together. We chat every single day. So you don't want to make people angry. So you do, and with having that sort of, I wouldn't call it a mentality. Let's call it mutual respect. You know you got a black, not a black flag. You don't want a black flag. You know you got a blue flag. So give the guy the space. It doesn't mean you have to go and stop dead in the middle of the track. Just move over. It's as easy as that.
You know, something I would even say move over, because if you are going to lap me, you're going to watch what I'm doing and I'll stick to my race and you can pass me because you're faster than what I am.
Exactly.
I'm just concerned or whatever, just you know, like, not understand. Chantal is still in the pit area.
She's still in the pit. Can we jump to her? And it's not as if she did not get a DNF or anything. So I'm honestly not sure. Does she maybe have a hardware related issue? I doubt it.
I know that during practice yesterday she was saying that she doesn't have the was it the FFB
force feedback.
The force feedback she didn't have, and she you know, she was struggling to race without the force feedback.
Yeah, that does make it very difficult. It's like having a book in your hands and having no feeling. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is the case. Maybe she's having some technical difficulties and she just decided, listen, I'm going to park the car, I'm going to stay in the pits, and I'm just going to take the 10th position. It's championship points in the bag, rather than just like leaving and not scoring at all.
Yeah.
At least in that manner, she still finishes the race. She doesn't get a did not finish.
That's correct. I wonder if she's still sitting in the pit or whatever, if it won't be possible to maybe also pull her into the conversation and see if we can get some answers from her.
Let's see if I can get her. I hope I don't catch her off guard. Now I am gonna catch her off guard. Molly? Chantel?
Yeah.
You're on the live stream now. Is everything alright there in the pits?
Well, everything looks fine.
Why are you still standing in the pits? Are they still busy fixing your car or doing your pit stop?
No, I've got problems with my wheel.
Yeah, is it still the force feedback the same as last night?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Ach well, shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. Just don't leave the race. At least you still got your championship points in the bag. So just stay there. You still get your finish for the year.
Yeah, no, don't stress.
All right.
I'll have to get a new, I don't know fucking what, something.
Well, we'll get it sorted for the next race.
Yeah, don't stress.
All right, thanks, Molly.
Cool beans.
Yeah, there's definitely something not lacquer with the steering wheel. And as you guys can hear, and viewers and everything, it's Namibia here, it's Africa. Ons sê fok. we swear that's the way that we are. It's frustrating. Sim racing, motorsport is frustrating. We've all seen it. Up to the F1, we've seen what Max Verstappen has done. It's frustrating. We did catch Molly off guard. As I said before I pulled her in, you can hear the frustration ever so slightly. So, no respect lost, no anything like that. It's the way that it is down under here in Africa. So, we missed something. Because Richard is now in 4th. Was Richard? Oh no. Okay, no. That's we didn't miss anything. Yeah, we didn't miss anything.
No, I've been watching quite well. Yeah, everybody's very nicely spaced out. JP's been lapped again at the moment or has been lapped by Jean-Ray.
Let's go.
It's amazing how fast time goes by when you're having fun, eh?
Yeah.
I can't believe
There's five minutes left in the race.
Right. Tell me, Peter, do you know the next event, what date it will be?
The
And
next
also-
event, leg 2. Sorry, Geraldine, you were still saying?
And what track it possibly will be?
So, the second race, or leg 2, as we refer to it, I still don't know why they call it legs. All of us only have like 2 legs, so why do we go up to leg 6? It's race 6 or event 6, not leg. But in any case, the second race, the second leg, will be at Paul Ricard in France, and that's now like in a month's time, the 27th of February. And then we've got like a slight break. There's no race or no championship race, no digital motorsport championship race in March. Then the next one I think is the 4th of February, 4th of April. I can verify that for you if you give me 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Let me quickly have a look here. Championships. The third leg is on the 24th of April. The 24th of April, not the 4th of April, I apologize. And that'll be at Silverstone. Then we have the 4th leg on the 26th of June at Watkins Glen. The 5th leg, am I correct now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th leg on the 28th of August at Kyalami. That'll be very interesting. All our drivers love Kyalami because it's Namibia and South Africa, basically same difference. So all our guys really love Kyalami. That'll be on the 28th of August. Suzuka leg 6 on the 25th of September. And the 30th of October, the last and final leg 7, will be at Red Bull Ring. Red Bull Ring, also a very, very nice track. So yeah, we've got Barcelona now, Paul Ricard, Silverstone, Watkins Glen, Kyalami, Suzuka, and Red Bull Ring. And then our lovely sponsors over at... Ooh, why am I having a freeze now? That's not good. That's not good at all. My feed just froze. Okay, it's still running. Our lovely sponsors over at ProX Auctioneers have hinted at an event an invitational event with Namibians, like the 10 people here versus a bunch of UK drivers. Now,
That ought to be amazing.
yes. When exactly that's going to happen, I don't know. Where exactly that's going to happen, I don't know. What the information is surrounding that, I have no idea. But it's going to be interesting. So we'll
Tell me,
definitely...
do you know,
Yes.
do you know as well if all the races will be, sort of during the daylight, or will there be any sort of going into the evening on the, on the circuits? I'm asking that specifically having watched the 9-hour endurance race from, how that Kailami from last year that they had on Supersport, I sat and watched that for 9 hours, which was actually very interesting. Watching them go from racing in the day, straight through into the night and finishing at like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
I'm not 100% sure. What I can see now here on the event details currently set on the server, from what I understand,
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
the times are set. The times and the conditions are set to real life local time. So if we were to hold a race at 8 o'clock in the evening, like now, like we did tonight, it's just past 9 o'clock now, and it's dark wherever the race is at that point in time, then I believe the race will be dark as well. But I'm honestly not 100% sure.
And this track, Barcelona, is now where? In
Barcelona is in Spain.
But
So-
surely they're not. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm stupid, yeah, but I'm sure they're not in the same time zone as us.
I don't know. If I look at if I go onto the server details, damn it, I close it now. Just give me a second. If I look at it now, event details, you see that the time that I'm looking at this now is 18 minutes past 8 in the morning. So yeah, I'm really not sure. I'm honestly not sure if there will be night races. Night races will be very, very interesting. But I think that's something. Even though the locations of the race have been set out, that's still something that can change. Well, if you look at that, Adrian Nel and Volro Dippen are very, very close to each other. If Adrian makes a mistake now,
The leader has finished the race.
Volro's then it's, and here comes the final chicane. So John
Because I
did
think they're literally on the final lap.
this is the final
Either
turn. This is the final
Yes.
turn. Adrian Nel finished the race. Brilliant first place for Adrian Nel. John de Toy. Apologies. So there we
Yes.
have it. John de Toy first place, Adrian Nel second place, Volro Dippen third place, Richard Celia fourth place, Reino Berger fifth place, Michael Roos sixth, Jean-Pierre Celia seventh, Mornay de Toy eighth, and Leon Berger in ninth, and an unfortunate finish for Molly, for Chantal Talliard, with a 10th place unfortunately having to finish in the pits. It just is what it is. That's the thing, unfortunately, with virtual racing, with using technology. Sometimes technology is awesome, sometimes technology drops you. That's just the way that it is, unfortunately. So yeah, with that said, the first leg of the Namibia Motorsport Federation's Digital Motorsport Championship for circuit, we still have a rally championship running, or having like to start running. But with that said, the first leg is in the bag. It's done. The points have been settled. It's finished and klar, like we say.
Well, I must say
So-
this has been very, very enjoyable for me. It's a lot less stressful watching this, knowing that they can't exactly fall out of the cars or write the cars off while they're away. The worst thing that can happen is that they can fall out of their rigs, which sure it would be possible. But yes, kudos to all the guys that finished. Well done.
Yeah, that was very, very nice racing with some close battles, clean racing. There weren't a lot of what's the word? Rubbing is racing. There wasn't a lot of that involved. The overtakes were clean. Everything was, it was textbook racing.
Definitely awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, with that said, next race, 27th of February, Paul Ricard, France. We will most definitely also be back and bringing you the action as good as we can bring it. This race was supposed to be live streamed. I'm just letting you guys watching it now in on a little bit of a secret. The race was supposed to be live streamed by yours truly, But due to the nature of the internet in Africa, or the ISP is in Namibia, not in Africa, the internet suppliers in Africa, I've got a pretty decent internet line at my house, or at my home, at my studio, whatever you want to call it. And like this week, they just decided, oh no, we got to fix a fiber cable. It will be fluctuations plenty. So we tried doing a test stream last night. It didn't work. So we opted for recording the race, uploading it, so you can still have all the action. Unfortunately, just like more or less a day later. Thanks for watching, wherever you are watching from. Have a brilliant day, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time zone you're in now, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you, Peter.